Hey guys, it's Z.A.K here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to rebuild a ball differential. Now for today, we're going to be using my B4.2 since it needs a rebuild and it sounds a little grindy. So yeah, before we start the rebuild, I'm going to show you guys what a good diff sounds like and a bad diff sounds like. So yeah, let's get into that. Hey guys, so here's the bad diff, aka the one I got to rebuild it to my B4. So yeah, let's see how it sounds. As you can see, I move one tire, the other one just kind of stays there. So that's not that great in the first place. And then when I move both the wheels, you could really hear the diff. So that means that the grease is kind of worn off and you kind of gotta, rebuild the diff. So, so let's pull in the 22 2.0. About 20 runs into it. Not a race yet. We're gonna do that next year or something. We'll see. But okay, so here's what a good diff sounds like. I mean, it's smooth. You can't hear anything because the balls aren't directly against the metal. They have grease in between it, so it's all nice. So then when I move both the tires, it sounds really nice. Move this tire. Really nice. So yeah, when I move both of them, one of them really fast, it spins the car, so that means it's pretty well tightened and pretty well lubed. So yeah, that's how you can tell whether it's bad or good. So yeah, let's get right to the rebuild. Okay guys, so the first step obviously is to remove your body and your wing, or just your body if you're running a stadium truck or a short course truck. So let's do that. Still beautiful shape. So yeah, that's inside of your car. So if you have a mid motor or a rear motor, then you're gonna have to remove your screws all in the back on the transmission. But if you have a four-wheel drive, then you're gonna have to do obviously the other stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get removing my T-plate and the screws on the top and bottom, and yeah, then I'll show you guys the transmission. So yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, so now that you've taken the differential out of your car, which I've done in that time lapse I have, so now you got to unscrew the tightening screw, the thrust screw I meant, and then it'll undo the nut. So you can just pull it right out. Pull it out carefully. You don't want to just yank her out. As you can see, that's not really grease anymore. It's kind of just grime. I can touch some of it. And it's sort of greasy, but as you can tell by the pattern that the grease is making, it's not very good. So let's pull that out. And then yeah, there's your differential. As you can see, there's like not a lot of grease in there. It's just all like I said, just grimy stuff, and the grease isn't really there. And yeah, it's just terrible looking. So just remove that side. Yes, there's no grease on that side either. Well, there is a little more on this side, so I'll just flow it down here. The bearings, they look pretty good. Let's do lubricate them with some liquid wrench. Pop that bearing out. So yeah, now what you want to do is just push your balls out. Make sure it's on a surface that can catch them all, because they're going to fall, like this one that just fell on its own. So yeah, what I'd like to do is just set it down and just pop them out one at a time. And then, yeah, there you go. That's how you pop out your balls. Now to take out the rings, you just got to take your X-Acto knife or something else that's thin and just pop her off. Do that for that side. And this side. And then there's your rings. Now to get off your thrust bearing, you're just gonna want to pull out your pin here. Sorry, I didn't have that in the frame. Then just push out the thrust bearing. Oh, dude, look at all that dirt that just came out. So, obviously, that is why it sounds so grindy. There's all this dirt right here. So that's not good. So, yeah, there's your thrust bearing with all of its balls. So, yeah, let's go into reassembling the diff. Alright guys, so my iPad mini ran out of storage because 16 gigabyte mini. So, pulled out my MacBook Air. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is take every piece of this assembly and spray it down with some lubricant. So I'll just get my good old can of liquid wrench. That's what I always use. Spray down everything. So the backs and fronts of the rings. As you can see all that dirt coming off, that's pretty good. Well, you don't want to spray your balls that close. So just grab yourself a new can of liquid wrench because mine ran out, because all it's doing is pushing air and just spray it. It'll just spray out fresh bursts. So now flip over the bearings, clean off the diff itself, flip it over, gotta get that again, and clean out these guys right there with out drives. Out drives should be clean because that's where the rings stick on. Spray on this again. Then thrust screw. So that's a lot of liquid wrench that I just used right there. So yeah, let's go grab ourselves some more paper towels and transfer your parts you just sprayed on your towel. Clean it off. Let's focus it up down here. So yeah, just clean it off. Look at all that gunk that just came off. That's pretty good. So let's take off the cover on the liquid wrench again. Put the straw in it. If I could get the straw to come out. There we go. And then just spray it some more because it's still dirty. These things are really hard to get the grease off because that grease is supposed to be really sticky to keep the rings stuck to the out drives. So gotta just keep doing this with the out drive, and then yeah, do the same thing for the other out drive, which I will have completed before. So then you take your diff ring or just your diff gear in general and spray it some more, a lot more. As you can see, it's dissolving. Then just wipe it out because yeah, look at all that dirt that just came off. That's insane. You want to get this thing really clean. No more old grease. No more dirt. As you can see from my the first part where I just pulled out that thrust bearing. That thing is just covered in dirt, which you don't want because that can make your diff grindy, and it could also go into your carbide balls and wear them out faster because it's just like having like sand in your bearings. It'll just wreck your bearings. So yeah, let's clean the rest of this out. So spray some more. Got some on the table, whatever. Let's clean the rest of that out. Grab a Q-tip, if I have one. Grab two of them because I might need some more. Grab a Q-tip. Let's go around. Clean her out. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it should be clean enough. As you can tell, if it'll focus. That is your completed clean plastic part of your diff, the gear. So now to get some more paper towels because more cleaning is about to get done. This video might get a little long, but this is how I do it. Take your rings, for your diff, these things right there, you wipe them off. They're really smooth, so you don't really need to use any more liquid wrench or WD-40 on them. I use liquid wrench personally because I think it's a lot better than WD-40 for cleaning. And second good thing about it is it softens your tires way better than WD-40. So yeah, there's your ring. It's shiny and new. See it glimmering in the light. Then just do the same thing for your other ring, which I'll do because it's really easy to do. Just keep cleaning her off. Get all that liquid wrench off because that stuff is like a degreaser. Once you put your diff grease in there, it'll probably not work as well because the liquid wrench / WD-40, whatever you have on hand, Moose Slick, WD-40, anything else like liquid wrench, which is the lubricating version. So yeah, that's the thrust screw. Just clean that off. Really easy to do. Now for the thrust bearing, which I call the hamburger because that's what it kind of looks like. And I'll clean off the little washers that the balls rest on. Too much That's What She Said references in this video. If you could count them all in the comments section, I'll give you a shout out. So yeah, count out how many That's What She Said references. So there's your ball. I mean, not your ball, your washer. Let's do it to the other one. And make sure your balls aren't sticking to it, just like what happened to me. And I just lost a few balls. So clean off this ring right here. Might need a little more because it's a lot of dirt on there. So much grease. Alright, so I got most of it off. I'll probably just use a Q-tip. And then pretty much the balls that are on this rag right here, you want to keep the bigger ones of the two piles separate from each other so you know what goes where. The ones that I put on the hamburger or the thrust ball or bearing, I would keep right over there. So then it's separate. And then you can spray them off one more time. And then the bearings, oh crap, got them all over my computer. Got to spray those off again. The bearings should be good. If they have a little dirt on the outside, no big deal, but you could clean off anyway. Mine are metal shielded, so I might want to clean them off. So there's one. Get the other one. Clean it off. There's the other one. Now I want to clean off my MacBook screen. Stupidly enough, the liquid wrench got up in there. Sorry about that, guys. But it's what we have to do to make this video. But there we go. We got basically everything cleaned except for the balls. So balls that you sprayed off with the liquid wrench, the bigger ones, will tend to get cleaner quicker because they're on the inside of the diff. So the ones that were the hamburger, as I like to call it, or on the thrust bearing, these guys right here, I think would get dirtier quicker if you're running them outdoors because dirt's just getting jammed up in there. So that's what happened to me, so I want to clean that off. Take a Q-tip and just rub it around, I guess. My fingers. However you want to get them clean, just get them clean. But don't lose them because they're really expensive for some people. But yeah, and these ones I'll just roll around. There you go. I'll get this thing clean. This last out drive, which I forgot to do. Clean off with some liquid wrench. Whoops, some more just went flying everywhere. So yeah, if you want, you can skip this part of the video if you know how to clean. But I'm just going to show you guys how I clean because some people don't know how to clean their ball diffs and redo them. And if you don't clean your ball diffs and you're rebuilding it, worst idea because all you're doing is just keeping it the same and just adding more grease to the equation. So yeah, so let's pick up our greases from my toolbox and we will get to rebuilding the diff. Okay guys, so now we're actually going to get to rebuilding the diff. So if you skip to this part of the video, then we're just going to start rebuilding the diff. So first of all, let's get the good old thrust bearing built. Hardest part, building a ball diff. So you guys might not see it because my hands are in the way, so I'm going to move the camera up to my head because I'm going to have to see what I'm trying to do. So first get your little washer here for your thrust bearing, and what I like to do is, as you can see, the side that is worn out the most has a ring kind of formed around it. I like to take the one that's least worn out and put that side facing towards inside so then it's used more and it feels like new. If you want to do it the other way, then go ahead. I kind of would recommend it, but I did this last time and it helped. It felt like it was a new kit. Now I know that a new kit diff feels like that it actually kind of worked. So then grab the smaller carbide balls from your other thing. I mean, from your unbuilt diff that you set on your cloth with liquid wrench on them or W40 so that they were clean. And keep them set aside because you'll need them in a little bit. Then grab some black grease or thick grease or whatever. This Team Associated black grease. So this is what I recommend because that's all I use to build all my diffs. I have low C black grease obviously because I have a 22 and that came in the kit, but I could not get the grease to come out of the bottle very well, so I didn't use it at all. I'll put a lot of black grease on your little washer there and kind of turn it. You want to put a lot because one, there's going to be dirt getting in here and you don't want it to get in. And two, you want those balls to stick on to your little washer there. So set that aside. And what I like to do is take the nozzle and stick a ball on and then push that into the little hamburger piece there and it'll fit right in. So grab another one. Oh, make sure it doesn't fall. Then push that in to your little assembly there. Sorry, I have big hands, they're kind of getting in the way. So grab another one. Try not to get stuck inside the nozzle. Push it in. I personally don't recommend using the bottle itself as something like this, but I'm pretty good at this, so stick another one in there. A lot of people are going to suck at this. The first time I did this, I had to rebuild it again because I did it wrong and the balls always fell out. So more grease the better. So drop that one in, and now the last one, finally, which I'm just going to set right there. As you can see, it's all built. Now you want to put some more grease on top of that so that it's lubed up, so to speak. So there you go. Now I'm going to be very gentle because my fingers are huge. Take the least one outside, face that towards the grease, and plop it on. And then your balls will start to look like they're coming off, so push them on to the inside of it. Hands might get a little dirty, but that's what we're here for. Wipe the grease off, and there you go. You have your little burger made, hamburger. So that's what I like to call it. But then you take your little hamburger, find out the side that doesn't have the nut in it. So this one doesn't have the nut. It has the room for the screw to go in. So you just put the screw in there. Be very gentle as your dad is yelling in the background. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's in there now, as you can see. My hands are kind of big though, but there you go. I'll take one of your bearings. Try not to touch the ring as much so you don't get crap on it. So you'll see in a second. Put one of your bearings down, the other one can go on, then put it on. But I'm not doing that. I'm just using it to push down the other bearing. There you go, the bearing's in there. So now what you do is you take the white grease and you put it on. Sorry guys, my dad interrupted me there. I don't like that when that happens, but whatever. So, kind of a hard view right now, but I'll just move this back. Now you got your diff basically assembled with the bottom half. So what you do for the next step is you take your white grease, which I'm using TLR silicone diff grease, which came with my kit, and I still have obviously a crap load left, because that's all I used it for was diff. So now take your grease and put it on around the ring. Now, this is really hard for me to do because these bottles suck. Okay, I'm gonna have these two hands. Push it down. Sorry about that with this bottle, it sucks. Last time I rebuilt this diff was in the summer, and for this white grease I just used Traxxas silicone because that's all I had at the time. Now that I have a kit, I have extra grease, which really helps, but you know. So that looks like enough. Now what you want to do is slather it on with your finger so it's evenly spread. It's going to feel kind of funny, as you all may know. Gotta get that lube spread around with your finger. Get it in every place you can. There you go. Now grab one of your rings right there, which I'm going to use the side that's the least worn out, which looks like this side, and then slap it on. So there you go. That's one side. Now I'm going to set this to the side and begin working on this side. Now I have not taken out the thrust nut in there, or the thrust screw nut. So yeah, I don't really need to. So I'm just gonna set it right there. Got grease left on your hand. Don't worry, just set it on the other side. So now I'll take this and slather it on there. I press really hard because this crap won't come out. Well, see, here's this. I hope that you guys changed your bottles because this sucks, to be honest. I think I used the pliers on that bottle, but yeah, let's slather that on. I put a lot on here so then it's smooth and it sticks on. So now I'll take your ring, which I'm just going to use the cleanest looking side, which is this one, and slap it on. By cleanest looking, I mean like the side that isn't as worn out, like with the balls resting and rubbing against it. So there you go. You have your little other half to your diff. So next thing you want to do, set this off to the side. So actually I want to put a bearing on it, right on this rod here. Might be different for you, but yeah, all ball diffs are the same because they use the same concept. So yeah, each of them have balls in the diff. Now what we want to do is take all your balls that you have right here, and then set them in these holes on this ring. Now to do that, I'm just going to get another washcloth, or not washcloth, but a rag here, wipe down the surface, make sure it's clean. You guys might have a clean surface already, but oh whoops, I've been using this for other things like spraying the liquid wrench, as you saw. Take your diff, which is right there, and you want to take some, what was it, clear grease? Yeah, clear grease again. I hate this stuff, but go ahead and slather it onto the whole sides where the holes are. So you just want to go around the outside, kind of like what you did with the rings, but on the holes, because you want the balls to be held in there by some lube. So it also, this helps to really smooth up your diff. Obviously you can't have a ball diff without some grease in it, or the balls will grind. Alright, so that was really hard because this thing sucks. But take your finger again, or the nozzle of the bottle. Get that lube in there, in all the holes. It's not really sticking because the liquid wrench. So I'll just use this. Get it everywhere. Hard to reach place here. This grease is going to be kind of bad to work with because it's so sticky, but hey, it works. So there we go. Looks pretty good. So now what you want to do is take your balls. Some people just dump them in there and just spread them out, but I don't because there's a hole in the middle. So what I do is I take like a handful or like a pinch, and oh yeah, I see it fell right through the hole like I told you. Pick that up, drop that in there again. Land it right in the hole. So yeah, what you want to do is get all the balls in the holes. So line them up, drop them in the hole. Line it up, drop it in the hole. Do this all the way around your diff until they're all the balls are in the holes. Don't want to push them too deep because gravity will obviously pull down your balls. Oh, oops, pushed that in the wrong spot. Don't want to scratch these balls up either, because if we do, it won't roll right. Ah, whoops, dropped the tool there. Kind of threw it. But there you go, you got your balls in your diff. That was kind of a hard fit. Yeah, now I'm just going to push them through the holes a little bit so then they're inset. Whoops, one fell out. Flip it over, push it back in. So there we go. There's part of it. Now I'm going to take the greasiest side, which I purposely added more grease so then it was greased up. I could use a little more grease. So add some more grease. Put the least greasy side of the diff, which is this side, because you put all the grease on this side. As a ball falls out of its hole, same one right next to that, right there. Then you push it in. Sorry, it's not centered in the camera, guys, but I had to get kind of a different angle to look at it. So yeah, there you go. All your balls are in. Give her a little twist, maybe a few, to get her kind of lined up and seated right. Take your other half, which has your hamburger and your thrust parts in there. I call it hamburger, like I keep saying, because it looks like one. Then it's together now. So what you can do is take your wrench, which I'm not using my drill for this, obviously. Tightening the diff with the thrust screw. You might want to push it down. Actually, you want to take, forgot about this part, a hex wrench and push it through this side. So then it compresses the spring, which the nut is on, so then it tightens the screw up. I like tightening it down pretty much all the way, and then loosening it, just a tiny turn, and then you have your diff. Mine is a little tight, but just want to work it in. both directions. Get her going a little more. So it's doing that. Turn this a couple times. Turn this a couple times. If you want your diff looser, go ahead, feel free. Loosen your diff a little bit more. I want to go too overkill because then it will just screw up your whole diff in general. So yeah, now you can take all of your clots, wipe up your workspace a little bit if you feel. I like doing that, keeps it clean. Then set your bottles off to the side and get your car in the frame, and then we can start the rest of it. So yeah, I'll do that quick, and yeah, we'll be back on the road. Alright guys, so now we're going to go and put the ball diff that's just been built back into the tranny. So yeah, first, figure out how it was before. So one side of the diff has the nut, and the other side of it has the screw. So on my B4, I've written down on a piece of paper or on your table, which I did because I'll do this many times, is write down what side the nut faces and the screw, and then what part of the car is facing forward. So basically, I said the nut faces this way, the screw faces that way, and the car's facing that way on the table. So after I reassembled it, I didn't forget where it went. So then just slap it in place. Typically, the nut will go on this side, which is where the gears are, and the screw will go on the other side, so you can adjust it like that. So yeah, make sure you keep that in mind. Now, before you seal up your gear case, it's always good to have some grease in there. If there isn't a lot, which mine doesn't have very much, because yeah, it just doesn't, because the grease kind of went out on me. Don't want to put too much grease because it's going to get a little strained. So put just a little bit. I prefer, like I said before, the black grease. Or if you got a can of dielectric grease hanging around, this works too. Use it all the time. Use it on my 4x4 Slash a lot on its recent rebuild for the gears. And yeah, just put that dielectric grease on your gears and it should roll like this. Or just put any of your, you could even put white grease on your gears or black grease, depends on how much action you want out of it. So yeah, now we're going to go back into the time lapse or just reassemble it off camera. We'll have to see in the video. And yeah, we'll have a complete car. So I got the B4 all back together. It's all buttoned up again. And yeah, the diff's pretty good. Oh yeah, I gotta tighten that wheel. But yeah, we'll compare it again against the 22 2.0's fresh kit diff against this thing's third owner diff, because I'm the third owner. Who knows what the other two are doing. But yeah, we'll see how it sounds. So yeah, let's give her a rip. Alright, stand the camera up. There we go. Focus it. Now let's hear the 22 again, just for a little starter clip of how it sounds. That's one wheel. Both wheels. Other wheel. You don't hear anything but the drive cup wobbling. That's it. Well, the B4, let's see how this sounds. I have to kind of touch the other wheel because I have it a little loose at the moment. As you can hear, it's less grainier. The reason why it's probably grainy sounding is the drive shafts, but as you can hear, it's pretty good. Pretty good, not both way. So, yeah, I obviously can't rotate it with one because it's kind of tight or loose. Well, yeah, it's not loose, it's tight because this wheel's kind of loose. But yeah, guys, that is how I rebuild or build my diffs, depending on what way you're thinking. So if you watched my 22 video and you want to know how to rebuild or build the diff like during that kit video, this video would be pretty good to know how to do that. And yeah guys, that's how I kind of clean out my tranny with my diff and all, and reassemble it, and also how to rebuild my diff. So yeah guys, that is the video for today. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.